And Jesus is that bread of life, and he is living, and what he gives us will sustain us. And back in chapter 6 in the book of John, where we were going through, where David was reading, it tells us the story about Jesus feeding thousands upon thousands of people, doing that miracle, feeding those people from 5 loaves of barley bread and 2 small fish. And not only did he feed them, but there were leftovers. That's a lot of food. That's a big miracle. And the next day, the crowd got up and they were looking around and they didn't know where Jesus was. And they finally discovered that he had gone across the lake. And so they got in boats and they followed him across the lake to find him. And when they did find him, Jesus tells them something. In John 6, verse 26, it says, "I tell you the truth. You are looking for me, not because you saw miraculous signs, but because you ate the loaves and had your fill." Here we see Jesus telling the crowd that he knows, look, the only reason you're following me right now is because I met that physical hunger for you. But what Jesus really wants them to know and to discover and realize is that they need to be following him because he can meet that spiritual hunger that they have. And he tells us this down in John 6:35. "I am the bread of life. He who comes to me will never go hungry, and he who believes in me will never be thirsty." And you see, this is where it shows us that there's a stark difference between going to Jesus because he gives you bread or going to Jesus because he is the bread. In Matthew 4:4 is another great verse. It says, "Man does not live on bread alone, but from every word that comes from the mouth of God." You see, my friends, we have a physical hunger and we have a spiritual hunger. We have a physical life and we have a spiritual life. And in the Bible, it uses 2 different words or 2 different forms of the word for life throughout the scriptures. So the first one is bios. I think we have those too. So bios means the breath in your lungs or your physical life. And the second one is Zoe. It means possessed with vitality or looking to the fullness of life, which would be your spiritual life. So what's most interesting to me is that these 2 words are used, but how many times are they used in the Bible? And if you look up, it says that the bios form of the word life, which is our physical life, is used 10 times. But the Zoe form of the word life is used 135 times. You guys, that is more than 13 times. More than 13 times more that they use and refer to our spiritual life more than they refer to our physical life in the scriptures. Why would that be? Because our physical life was never meant to fully satisfy us. That is because Jesus is meant to fully satisfy us. And that is why when we start feeling that spiritual side of our life with things not of Jesus, that we continue to feel like something is missing. That is why when we start focusing more on what job we have, how much money we're going to make this month, how much attention am I getting from my spouse or my family, how much interaction on social media am I getting? We might get a quick fix or a good feel from some of those things, but it's not going to last. It's never going to last because those things are not eternal things. But Jesus is. But the bread of life is.